Okay, Rabotai, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this last night, I would say, of a beautiful lineup that we had between Pesach and Shavuot, as we usually do in SLC. We have to say that it's been a tremendous success and hana'ah that we had from the quality of the speakers. And our final bouquet of the fireworks is Mr. Charlie Harary, who does not need any introduction. The name speaks for himself, and we are really excited to have you on the last lap before the holiday of Shavuot. We want to thank you for being with us tonight. It's usually pretty hard to have you physically in the show, so Baruch Hashem, it worked out perfectly to have you with the Zoom situation this year. I would like to thank our sponsors tonight, Mr. and Mrs. Raymond and Tanya Zaytoune. The shiur is sponsored in honor of their parents. So I would like to mention first Mr. Ezra Abadi Alav Shalom. The Divrei Torah should have a zechut for elevation of his neshama in Gan Eden. V'sheyibadlu lechayim tovim, Mr. Albert and Victoria Zaytoune, and Mrs. Gina Abadi. May they live a long life full of nachat and joy. I would like also to thank the sponsors, Raymond and Tanya, who are very active members in our Bet Knesset, especially with the young adults. And we want to wish them atzlacha in everything that they do, both in ruhaniyut and gashmiyut. They should have only good things. Blessing, amen, ken yehi ratzon. Without further ado, it is a real pleasure to introduce Mr. Charlie Harary Bechavot.
Here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. It's an honor to be here. I want to begin, first of all, by thanking you for Zechut. I know that you had such a lineup of great speakers, and I'm happy that you already had won the game. It's over, and so now it's all relaxation from here. So it's a low pressured environment. For those who have their videos on, I want to say thank you. When you're sitting in your office doing this, you're looking for eyes. And so for those of you who have your videos on, I appreciate it. It's nice to see your faces. It's nice to see the shining faces of this wonderful community. It's a wonderful thing for us to get together for the time of Matan Torah. So we're in this is the greatest holiday, right? We talk about the Super Bowl. Everyone goes crazy about the Super Bowl. One time in the history of the world, God showed up. I mean, he's always here, but I mean, he revealed himself once. We're waiting our whole lives for him to do it again. Everyone's talking all day. Mashiach, 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 Mashiach. We're always asking, please, please, please. We're begging Hashem Rosh Hashanah Kippur. We're asking, do it again, do it again, do it again. One time in our history, God showed up and said, I'm here. Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Greatest day ever. Greatest day ever. It happened. It's going to take place. The anniversary is going to take place in just a couple of days. Jewish people in the desert, basically in quarantine, right? After they left Yam Suf, they did nothing. They went from Yam Suf to the Mount Sinai is a couple of miles, 2 million people. That means that they spent the next 40 days in quarantine. They were in the middle of the Anenei Kavod. They had basically, Anenei Kavod was air conditioning. They had man, so they had food. And they said that when the clothing went near the Anenei Kavod, it washed it. So the Jews had air conditioning, food, and dry cleaning, which is like basics for survival for our people. And they sat for 40 days in quarantine. And it was done. They stood before Hashem, and they looked up and they saw Hashem. But if you notice, there's two questions I want to ask tonight. Number one is the name of the holiday. What's the name of the holiday? Shavuot. Why do we call the name Shavuot? Because Shavuot in English is weeks. Well, it's such a big day that we prepare for it, right? You're preparing for the wedding. When I was a kid growing up, I went to Yeshiva Flatbush, not too far from here. We had a tournament. I don't know if they still have it now. It's called Sakin Tournament. I don't know if you guys remember the Sakin Tournament. I had on my wall, we had a countdown to Sakin, countdown. People are having countdowns to Super Bowls. This is the biggest day of all time. The Jews counted. You didn't just roll into it. You didn't just get a pop-up on your screen saying, by the way, one more day till Hashem shows up. You were ready to go. You're counting the weeks. They're counting and counting, getting ready, and they stand up in front of God, and the day comes and he shows up, and forever we remember the holiday, and we call the holiday Shavuot. Wait, I don't understand something. The reason why we have Shavuot is to prepare for the big day. Shavuot, the weeks aren't important. The weeks are only there to prepare us for the big day. You get to the mountaintop and you call the holiday the biggest day ever. You know what you should call that holiday? Yom Hashem. Yom HaTorah. Chag HaTorah. You know what we call the holiday? The weeks. Wait, the weeks aren't important. They're just getting us to the end. Can you imagine getting to the Super Bowl and they get to the game, you're finally at the game and they rename the Super Bowl to the season. You go, no. The season is to get you to the Super Bowl. You call the Super Bowl the season? But no, it's the Super Bowl. It's the end. You don't call the destination by the means. It's like an Abbott and Costello routine. I don't understand something. We get to this is it. You're at the top of the mountaintop. And instead of saying this is the biggest day, you know what the rabbis call the day? The weeks. Wait, is it the weeks of the end? What kind of name is that? Who was on the naming committee? How in the world do we call this day the season? It's the championships. Why is it called a holiday? But I got one more question. We have a great custom. Not everybody does it, but it's a big custom in Klal Yisrael. The custom is that the night of Shavuot, the first night of Shavuot, we stay up all night long. We say tikkun, we read, and we try to pray as early as we can in the morning, shachrit. And it's a custom that has gone back many, many years, that we stay up all night the night before, and we come in the morning to the Torah, and in the Torah we read about Matan Torah, and in that moment it's as if the rabbis teach us Hashem is giving us the Torah again. When you come to shul on Shavuot morning, or today, I don't know if you have minyanim or even not, this year is a whole nother story, but generally when we would hear the Torah on Shavuot morning, the rabbis teach us it's as if spiritually, there's no laser light show, there's no thunder and lightning, the production's different. Spiritually, it's like you're getting the Torah again. So why do we stay up all night for? So the reason is because when the Jews got the Torah the first time, they overslept. Moshe had to come and wake them up. And because they overslept, we are mitaken that, and we stay up all night long. That's the reason. Does that make sense to anybody? Could that possibly be? Really? The one day that God shows up, we're talking about a nation that was slaves. For 209 years, slaves. Radio silence. They're praying to God for 200 years. Nothing. One day, Moshe shows up with a staff and goes, I saw Hashem. I was walking around the desert. I saw a bush. It kept on burning. They're like, whatever. He goes, okay, you don't believe me? Sit back and relax. On-demand TV, antiquity style. 1 year of the craziest plagues ever. The Jewish people are looking up and going, who is this Hashem? I can't believe this. This is amazing. He's so creative. He has all the resources in the world. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's the greatest show of all time. Frogs and locusts and this. Forget about it. 10 plagues. Can you imagine if you were a Jew then? You didn't know Hashem existed? You heard of it from the Masorah, but you didn't really know. And all of a sudden, Moshe comes in, 10 plagues. You walk outside Egypt and God goes, wait, it's not over yet. This is the greatest Pesach program of all time. You didn't even wait, get ready for night activity. They stand in front of the sea. They go, what are we doing here? There's no boardwalk. God goes, keep on walking. They go, where? Into the sea? Hashem says, if you thought the plagues were cool, watch this. Split. The Jews came through the other sea with forgetting. It was unbelievable. Az Yashir Moshe. The Jews were turning around. They were dancing. They were singing. They were saying, Zekeli V'anveu. They're pointing up to the sky and they're going, I can't believe this is God. The most inspiring year in the history of our people. Then they finish. Then they go from there. They're not done. They don't go home. They didn't finish camp and went home. Then every single day they wake up in the morning and there's a portion of man for each kid. To the right, to the left of the Hananei HaKavod. There's a be'er that springs forth water. We're talking about a people that were slaves, that in 1 year Hashem showed up and continuously poofed miracles. Now Moshe said that Hashem is showing up, and they overslept. Really? They woke up at 6. They're like, you know what? It's too early. I'm telling you. I'm sure he'll be there at 9 o'clock. I'm sure Where's he going? Where's he going? Well, does he understand that like it's Sephardi time? Like he's God. We're from Egypt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure the Ashkenazi Jews are there early. We're Sephardi. I'm sure God knows how to. Do you think that's what was going on? You think they were like, you know what, he'll be there at 9? Think they didn't set their alarm clocks? Can you imagine if you were a Jew there? You wouldn't be going out of your mind. You'd oversleep to see the Rabbono Shalom. How in the world did they oversleep? How is that possible that they overslept? And we're sitting around, us little Jews, and we're fixing their mistake? We stay up all night saying a couple of words and like we're fixing. They messed up, the greatest generation who saw Hashem, but we got it right? What kind of minhag is that? How do we understand that? What's going on over here? So I want to share with you a concept. It's one of the most fundamental concepts that I believe is what holds people back from Torah. How come we don't connect more? If you ever felt that you couldn't connect enough to Torah, in my opinion, this is one of the most fundamental ideas. I heard this from a rabbi named Rabbi Schwab, Rabbi Shimon Schwab. He's one of the greatest thinkers of the last generation. Here's what he says. Here's what the rabbi says. It's unbelievable. He said the Jews didn't oversleep. One of the great minhagim that we have, they overslept. They didn't oversleep, he says. They went to sleep on purpose. They didn't make the mistake and they overslept. And Moshe's knocking on the door like in camp. Wake up time, wake up time. It's not like the mom waking up her teenage boys from minyan in the morning. The Jews deliberately went to bed. Why? Listen to what he says. One of the great challenges that we have with Torah is that we think that the way God works is that there are two types of Jews in this world. There are the perfect Jews. We look around and see certain Jews, and though we think that the Jews that are sitting in the front, the Jews that we hear about, they were born differently than the rest of us. And there's a concept like that in some of the Sepharim, that certain people are in this world with different nishamot. But for the most part, we look around and we think that there's two types of Jews in this world. They're the people that are above nature. Then there's me and you, or just me. And I'm a flawed guy. And I have desires. And I make mistakes. And the truth is, in our core, we believe that the Hashem, he really loves the tzaddikim and he like tolerates us, right? You get to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur and they tell you when you're young, you're not going to be a tzaddik. Forget that. Forget the book of tzaddikim. Like that's gone. You know what you're playing for? Benoni or Rasha. Those are your two options, D or F. If you step up big time and you keep on fighting, and you get to Yom Kippur and you don't pass out and you scream and scream and scream, maybe you go from the Rasha book into the Benoni book. But the Tzaddik book, forget it. It's not even in the cards. The Torah to us feels like it's for tzaddikim. And I'm like a regular guy. I get bored sometimes. I can't read as well. I didn't have the education that my brothers had, my mother had, my father had. I got so much that the world wants of me. How do I connect to this? And where most people make a mistake in Torah is that they think to themselves the following thing. Torah is not meant for people that are physical. Torah is meant for people that are spiritual. I'm sure that big rabbi has no ta'avot. I'm sure that guy who's studying Torah, he doesn't want to have a nice house, so he doesn't want to have this. It's meant for people that are above nature. The Jews, if you understand, during the times of the Nevi'im, when they would take Nivuah, when they would get prophecy, they weren't walking down the street one day and they're like, all of a sudden they're walking and they hear God saying like, Yirmiyahu. And they're like, Hashem? Yirmiyahu, go left, go right, tell the king. It wasn't like that. The way they got prophecy back then was they would go to bed. They would go into a meditative state. They would shut down their bodies. They learned how to shut down the physical world, and they were basically sleeping. When you're sleeping, you don't need anything. You don't eat. You don't drink. You don't got to go to the bathroom. You don't have no ta'avot. You have no flaws. When a person goes to bed, it's as if the physical world is shut down on him. And the way the Nevi'im used to get Nevuah is they would learn how to they would shut down their bodies in a meditative way, like a sleep. And when everything was shut down, then all of a sudden Hashem could put in the Nevuah. You can become spiritual for those Nevi'im. Moshe Rabbeinu comes around and tells the Jewish people, guess what? In 3 days, Hashem is going to come. Prepare yourselves. This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the moment you've been thinking about. You've been thinking about this Hashem, this God, for 1.5 years. This is the day he's going to come. And the Jewish people said, wait, Hashem is coming? I know what to do. I can't show Hashem who I am. 2 years ago, I was serving idols. Hashem doesn't want me to be physical. He doesn't want me to get in my life what Hashem really wants of me. What the Torah really is for people that are spiritual. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to sleep. And when you go to sleep, what you're doing is you're turning off your body. And now Hashem has the kli, the vessel to come into. The Jewish people weren't oversleeping. The Jewish people were actually putting themselves to bed because they thought that the only way they can ever connect to Hashem is if they were spiritual. They made the most fundamental flaw in Judaism. People think that spirituality is the negation of physical. When I'm not physical, when I'm like an angel, then I'm going to find Hashem. Hashem's always looking down and being a little bit upset with me. When I go to work, I don't have Hashem in my office. You know when I see Hashem, I go to shul, I pray, I close the book, and then I go. Then it's my time. Why would Hashem care about my job? Why would Hashem care the fact that I'm watching the game and why would Hashem's not with me on carpool? Hashem's not with me when I'm watching my kids play sports. Hashem lives in the Bet Midrash, in the Bet Knesset. He lives in Yom Kippur. He lives in these places. That's what Hashem wants of me, and that's what the Jews thought. So Rabbi Schwab says, you know what the Jews did? They turned off their physical, and they went to bed. And Moshe comes down and says, where's everybody? They're making the most fundamental mistake they can make. There's a great midrash that when Moshe Rabbeinu came up to Shemayim, the Malachim wanted the Torah from him. Can you imagine Moshe Rabbeinu up there and all the Malachim coming at him to take the Torah? And there's different midrashim as to what happened. He turned like Abraham Avinu. There's one midrash that says that as they were taking the Torah from him, Hashem says, fight them. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the scene? Moshe Rabbeinu comes up to Shemayim. He's about to get the Torah, and all the Malachim, can you imagine? All the Malachim come after him, and Hashem says, come on, fight them. You could do it. It's like in the park. You could do it. Stand up for yourself. And the Midrash, from what I remember, says, Moshe looks into the Torah and says, wait a second. It says, Kaberet avicha v'et imecha. You guys have parents? It says to eat kosher. You guys have not, you guys eat? It says that you got to make sure you don't mix this and this. You guys are worrying about mixing things? And Hashem says, you're right. You know why? Because you know why Hashem gave us the Torah for? Hashem gave us Torah for one reason and one reason only. Because the essence of what it means to be a Jew is to understand the following principle in life. Spirituality is not the negation of physical. Spirituality is the elevation of physical. Hashem put us on this world and said, listen to me, listen to me. This world is going to throw you for a loop. If you walk around this world and you leave it to yourself, forget about it. If you're going to navigate this world alone and think that you can control how much you take in and how much you give out, if you think you're going to go through your life alone, you're missing it. Here's what I'm going to do. I can make you an angel, Hashem says. You don't think I can make you angels? I don't think I got to worry about the bodies here. I need a nation to go down into this world as bodies that are flawed, that make mistakes, that are bored sometimes, that it's hard for them sometimes to sit in shul, that it's hard for them sometimes to not do the wrong thing. I need regular people. I need them to go down into this world. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to give them a special bit of wisdom called the Torah. And if they understand that the goal of the Torah is not to negate the physical, the goal of the Torah is to elevate the physical. It's only for people that are flawed. It's only for human beings. It doesn't belong to Melachim. Lo bashamayim. It only works for people that have issues. It only works for people that aren't perfect. It only works for people that are struggling. If you can understand that what Hashem wants you to see, Moshe says, is not you sleeping with your bodies off. What Hashem wants you to really see, Hashem wants you to see you for who you are, with all your flaws, all the hard times, all the things that are hard for you in Judaism. He put you in this earth with your problems. He put us on this earth with our issues. And he tells you every day, remember something. The Torah is not built so you can kiss up to me. The Torah is given to you because this is what's called the Torah Chaim. It's going to help you live the best life for you. I'm giving you the answer. Don't you show up on Chag HaTorah. Don't you show up on Matan Torah sleeping. You're missing the entire point. The point is not for you to go away. The point is for you to come in here with what you have, because if you do and you come to me, Hashem says, I'm going to show you that in that Torah, if you understand that in the Torah, it's going to elevate you. You're not going to leave your life. You're going to elevate your life. You're not going to leave your business. It's going to elevate your business. You're not going to leave your ta'avot. It's going to elevate them, to use them correctly. And one of the great mistakes that we make in our lives is that we think that Torah is not for me because it's for people that are perfect. It's the exact opposite. The Torah is built to people that are imperfect. That's what it means to be a father or a mother. How many times our kids say that to us? They're embarrassed to show us something, and they don't realize that we're not looking for them to get grades for us. We're looking for them to grow for themselves. We're here to help them. There's no condition on our love for them. We don't love them if. We love them, period. Why is it called Chag Shavuot for? Why Chag Shavuot? Wouldn't it make sense to call it Chag HaTorah? Wouldn't it make sense to talk about the Super Bowl? So I'll never forget this great quote. I think it was from Michael Jordan. I'm sure it's from Michael Jordan. I'm sure every good sports quote comes from Michael Jordan at some point. It's either Michael Jordan or Tom Brady. It's one of those two. Yeah, I'll tell you who it was from. I remember now. It was from Bill Belichick. We're from New York, so we don't really like quoting him, but whatever. Bill Belichick once said the best line. He says, you don't win Super Bowls in the postseason. Ready for this? You win Super Bowls in the preseason. You know when you become a championship team? Not when you're at the end. You become a championship team when you're in the beginning. When you're engaged in the process. When you show up every single day. When you think, there's no way we're going to win, and you keep on playing. Champions are not made at the end of the season. Championships are made every single game along the way. What it really means to be a champion is not you wait to the last minute and you step up. What it really means to be a champion is you have a sense of consistency. Every day, keep on working. Every day, it's going to come. It's going to come. One of the greatest moments in the history of the Jewish people took place when Yaakov went back to Canaan. And as he got back to Canaan, he encountered a malach. If you remember the story, the malach shel Esav, and they fought all day. And after they were done fighting, he says, give me a beracha. Can you imagine? Give me a beracha. And the malach turns to him and says, you're going to be called Yisrael. You know why you'd be called Yisrael for? Because you fought, you struggled with God and with man, and you won. Now, let me ask you a question. If you have a choice between picking two words, you played in the game and you won, which one would you pick for a team name, a player or a winner? You played in the season and you won the championships. Do you pick season or championships? The malach said two things to him. Kisarita, you played im Elokim v'im anashim, with angels and man, v'tuchal, and you won. If you have to pick a name for a nation, do you pick you played or you won? Shouldn't we be called the B'nai Tuchal? We're the sons of winners. We're not the sons of strugglers. But the Torah calls Yaakov Yisrael, which is Sarita, which is strugglers. Why? Because you know what it means to be a Jew? There's no winning in Judaism. There's no top of the line in Judaism. There's no mountaintop in Judaism. You don't get to the end of the line and go, I was the best husband. I'm out, honey. See you later. It's been a pleasure. You don't get to your kids and go, I'm doing a great job as a parent. I think I hit the top of the mountain. It's been a pleasure. Good luck. We don't get to a tefillah and go, you know what? Yesterday was Kippur. I killed it. You know what? I'm taking the week off because I'm not going to get that again. What it means to be a Jew is every day you wake up and you turn to Hashem and say, I'm going to be better today. I'm going to be a little bit better today. Because I know in my heart, you're doing this for me. You're doing this for me. You built a Torah because you want imperfect people to raise up to become perfect. And when a Jew wakes up every single day and remembers that the reason why I'm doing this isn't because there's a God in Shamayim that cares about what I'm doing this or what I'm that. It's not like he needs my tefillot. I'm doing this because Hashem is saying, I'm giving you the greatest gift in the world. I'm going to give you a book of wisdom that's going to take you into this world and give you the greatest life that you can possibly get if you trust me. When a Jew is willing to struggle, to play in the season every day. I don't know if you guys seen The Last Dance. It's the new thing going out with Michael Jordan. There's a great scene from season 2. Sorry to be sports reference. I don't know. This is how I see the world, through sports. I learned Torah through sports. I'm learning Gemara. I'm like, this makes no sense. And then like someone tells me sports, I'm like, oh, this makes sense now. If you explain to me how through Yankees, then I can figure out the Gemara. There's a great story. Michael Jordan, his second season, he came back and they were going to lose. They weren't going to make the playoffs. So the management wanted to just lose and get a good lottery pick. And Michael didn't understand what they're talking about. If you're playing in a game, how could you play any game not to win? But we have no chance, Michael. He goes, what, are you kidding me? What kind of people get on any basketball court ever and not try to win? Every day a Jew gets up in the morning, looks up to Hashem and says, I wasn't great yesterday, or I was great yesterday. I'm going to want to be greater today. I want to learn a little bit more today. I'm going to hear shiur today. I'm going to not speak because I know in my heart that the reason why you don't want me to speak Lashon Hara, the reason why you care about what I do and what I buy, the reason why you do this is because you're taking somebody and you're raising them up. And I want to be an elevated person. The wisdom you give me is the most important thing in the world. My eyes are open. I'm up. I'm not sleeping for Matan Torah. And every year when Shavuot comes, we stay up all night. You know why? You think we're being mitaken their sin? No, we're being mitaken our own sin. Every year we stay up all night because we're showing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're showing Hashem. Listen, we get it this year. We're not missing it this year. You don't want us walking in sleeping. You don't want us walking in shutting off our physicalness. You want us coming in up. You want all of me. You want every bit of me. And so every single year we have this minhag to stay up as much as we can the night before because we're showing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're saying to him, I know when Shavuot comes and we're going to have our own mini Matan Torah this year, I'm coming to you with my flaws, with my problems, with my deficiencies, and I'm coming because I trust in my heart that that's who you want. That's what the Torah is for. Human beings. You know why it's called Shavuot for? Because God forbid, does God want you to walk up and go, you know what? There's the guys on top, they made it. Torah is like a race. Whoever climbs to the front first raises his hands and wins. It's like Tough Mudder. The marathon winners. You're running a marathon, you think you're doing great. All of a sudden you see people fly right by you. You're halfway through, half the race is done. You're like, what do I even try for? It's all about the winning. It's all about the finish line. Look at the top of the mountain. Can you imagine what it must feel like when the Jews came to the mountaintop and saw the tzaddikim kiviyachol at the top? If we'd have to place on the mountain, where would you place me and you? Forget you. Where would I place myself? If I'd go to the mountain right now, there's tzaddikim. I'd be on the bottom of the mountain with everybody. I'd be sitting around the bottom going like, oh, there's a tzaddikim. I mean, where Moshe, Aharon, everyone who's the great rabbis. Oh, you know where I'm sitting on the mountaintop? I'm on the bottom. You're going to have Chag Matan Torah. It's for those people who sit and learn all day Torah. Hashem says, you know what we're going to call the Chag? Shavuot. You know why? Because I'm not talking about a destination. It's about the journey. And if you're counting the first day, if you count Sfirat Omer, you learn. If you're on day 2 and you're still counting, you say the Beracha. If you're on day 45 and you missed one day, you don't say Beracha. I don't understand. 45 days under your belt. You're almost on the mountaintop. You're almost there. You're literally in the corner. You're about to touch the floor and you forget one day. No Beracha. How come? Because God goes, it doesn't matter where you're on the ladder. It matters if you're in the game. If you're in the game every day, if you think about me every day, if you're trying to get close to me every day, I don't care, man, woman, old, young, no, doesn't know. If you tell me every day I'm here for you, I'm going to get a little bit better. God goes, you're in Shavuot, you're in the weeks, you're in the journey. That's all I want. I want you in the journey. I want you in the game. The challenge that we have in our lives right now is that there's never been a time, I don't think, maybe in our history, where it's been so hard to find the joy in Torah. The world is so enticing. Every second of our lives, people are giving us what they call counterfeit pleasures. I once heard a rabbi say, there's a rabbi in Israel by Gabriel Friedman. He said something amazing. He said, if you look at what is the favorite pastry of America? This is a great idea. Listen to this. He's an Israeli rabbi. He goes, what's the favorite pastry in America? What is the number one pastry in America? By far. I would say anybody, but I can't hear anybody. It's a donut. Donuts sell more than any other pastry, right? There are chains named after donuts. What is the number one pastry in Israel? A sufganiyah. What's the difference between a donut and a sufganiyah? A donut has the sprinkles and the chocolate on the outside, but the inside is missing. A sufganiyah, the outside seems the same, but you know what you got to do? You got to get to the inside. So that's the difference between a Jewish state and a non-Jewish state. He goes, in the outside world, everything looks good on the outside. Every day, we're buzzing and beeping. Every day, someone says, look better, buy more, do this, compete for this. Your car's not nice enough. What are you wasting your time with this? Look how great this looks. Look how great this looks. There's industries upon industries upon industries just getting us to take, come on, donuts. Look at these sprinkles. Look how gorgeous the sprinkle looks. Come on. You don't have time to wait to get into the inside of a sufganiyah. Come on, you have time for this? You're going to sit down quietly for half an hour and pray slowly? You're going to sit down and learn a piece of Torah. You're going to hear a class that's going to take you half an hour, and you're going to sit with nothing to do, just staring at the guy? That's why I so appreciate the guy sitting here listening the whole time, looking at me. You're going to do nothing else but just look at somebody for 30 straight minutes? You know what you could be doing in 30 minutes? You know how much stuff you could be doing in addition? I told my kids, I said, don't worry about it. And in the future, with God's help, all you got to do is show up and you're going to kill it. Most people can't go 5 minutes without checking something. Their brains are so wired to be stimulated every 2 seconds. When I grew up, you had to fight till like law school. When you're going to grow up, all you got to do is just have your brain working for 10 straight minutes. You're going to kill everybody in your path. We're living in a world right now where the last thing we want to be doing is getting into the depth of something. Husband and wife can't even go into a restaurant anymore and talk. It's impossible. You can't even go to a restaurant and talk to your wife anymore because on the way and in the restaurant, there's 4 million things happening. If it wasn't for Shabbat, could you ever sit down with your children? You ever sit down with anyone who's got kids that are over the age of 9? You ever sit down with your kids on a table for more than half an hour and get your kids? Just get your kids. We're living in a time right now where it's never been harder to look up and say, wait a second. I want to find the wisdom in Torah. I want to feel that feeling of being connected to the Borei Olam. I want to get the wisdom for my marriage. I want to get the wisdom as a parent. I want to get the wisdom for how to be a person that works during the day but balances tzedakah, knows how to give, how to take. I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy that balances. I want to be that woman that understands how to run a household, that is still it still lives in this world, but at the same time, my kids sense in me this emunah. There's a woman that I met the other day. I'll never forget this. She was running this big business, and I didn't know she was religious at all. And we're sitting at this big deal, and things are going crazy. I'll never forget this my whole life. And I'm like getting all nervous. She stops. She goes, "Stop." She goes, "Remember, there's a Borei Olam." I'm like, "There's a Borei Olam? Who, you're even Jewish?" I said, "I don't know what you do." Calm. She says, "My mother, she's Moroccan. She grew up in Israel." She goes, her mother, she remembers growing up when she would light candles, the way she would light a candle for Rabbi Meir Balanes. She goes, my mother, when I looked in her eyes, I saw emunah. I never forgot that my whole life. Her mother didn't give her a class. She lived with God. She knew. My grandmother, Alea Shalom, I'll never forget. I used to come to her house. She had an apartment on R in Ocean Parkway, right down the block, next to Avavi Avad. I don't know if Avavi Avad is still there or not. Right on the corner from where your shul is. I used to come. I'll never forget. As a kid growing up, I used to come to her apartment. She'd be sitting in the kitchen. She's making kak. I'm like, Grandma, who are you talking to? She's like, I'm talking to God. I'm like, Grandma, God's not here. She's playing mahjong with her friends. She's fighting with Hashem that she's losing. She's playing cards, fighting with Hashem. When she said Al Amak, when I walked out of that apartment, I knew 100% that what she was saying to me is, don't forget, Hashem is with you. Al Amak. She lived it. She didn't have to give me a class in emunah. My grandmother was an embodiment of emunah because she lived in a time, she first in Syria, then in Beirut. They lived in a time where they had it in their blood. They had it in their milk. They knew they could be regular people, and Hashem loved them. My grandmother didn't think for 1 second that because she wasn't perfect, Hashem wasn't in her bones. She lived Shavuot her whole life. My grandfather, my uncles, it's a generation back in the old country. They lived differently than us. My uncle once told me a story that in Syria, they would get up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They'd be learning an entire morning strong before they went to work, and no one thought it was a big deal. That's our history. That's our ancestry. We come from the greatest people in the world, people that woke up every single morning, eyes open, turned to Hashem and said, what you have in that book is going to change my life. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to have a family, but it changes my life. That's what Chag Shavuot is. It's not for the big rabbis. It is for the big rabbis, because big rabbis do this too. They're not perfect. The reason why they're big rabbis is because they work on this. It's for the whole world. It's for me and you. And the greatest thing we can do on Chag Shavuot, in the middle of all the stuff, and all the meals, and the greatest thing we can do on Chag Shavuot is turn to the Borei Olam, 1 minute of quiet, and say, I'm here. I'm right here. I don't understand half the stuff that you're telling me to do. And sometimes I'm not moved at all. And I'm flawed. You know more than I know how much I'm flawed. But I'm in. I'm in. I want to be better this year. I want to be closer this year. When I pray to you this year, I want to try to close my eyes once. I don't want to have to worry that the chazan is going too slow. I want to actually feel your presence. When I'm at work one day and things go wrong, I want to feel you so much that I have bitachon, it'll be okay. When I give tzedakah, I want to give tzedakah with a full heart, knowing it's not my money. I'm a GP in the deal. You're the LP. You give me the money. My house, I want my kids to know that their mother believes in God with all her heart. She's not competing with the people around her. I don't have to impress any of my friends. I got to do the best that I can do. When we walk around and we live Chag Shavuot our whole lives, when our eyes are open, we come to Hashem and says, I'm only on the journey. I'm not there yet. I'm only on the journey. But I'm here. Hineni. I'm here. It's the hardest generation in the world to be connected to you, Hashem. You handed me a thing that I wear on my hip that my great-grandfather never even knew about. When we have that time and we do those things, we're really living the holiday. We're keeping Shavuot, the name, the journey. And we're wide awake. And the most important thing is, we're biting into a sufganiyah, knowing that sometimes you got to go a little in before you get to the inside. We're not falling for the tricks of the donut. The greatest thing we have in our lives is in the inside. The greatest things we have in our lives is on the inside. Our family, our neshama, Hashem, it's on the inside. And my bracha to each and every one of you, to this holy congregation with ancestry that dates back, a congregation that's the bridge between the past and the future. That we should never forget who we are. We should never forget who we are. We're the greatest nation in the world. And on Friday, we're going to remember a time where Hashem said that to us. He said, I know you think you're flawed. I'm handing you my greatest jewel. Take it and change the world with it. And we said, Hashem, me? I'm a nobody. And Hashem says, you have no idea who you are. You just fight that journey. You just live in Shavuot your whole life. You just show up every day. You just show up every day and trust me, you're going to be amazing. But don't fake me out. Don't look at your watch 100 times when you pray. I run the world. All the things you're trying to get on your phone, I sent you those problems. All the stuff that's distracting you, I run the world. Don't get brought down by that. Don't buy that. My bracha to us is if we can have a minute, just a minute on Shavuot, just a minute to ourselves, to look up to the Borei Olam and say, listen, I'm giving you something. I want to give you a present. I want to give you a holiday present, Hashem. Here's my holiday present for you. I'm doing this from now on every day. 5 minutes every day is me and you time. I'm going to one class a week, guaranteed. I'll see you here next year on top of the mountaintop. I'm going to show you in a year from now. I'm not missing my weekly class. I'm doing something for you this time. I'm giving you a gift called me. Whether it's in prayer, or it's in classes, or it's in studying, or it's in tzedakah, I'm going to give you a gift called me. And if we can have that level of faith, we can have that level of humility, it's the greatest gift you can give somebody. Is there a greater gift that a kid can give you than coming to you on Father's Day and saying, Dad, I'm giving you the gift of 10 more minutes of me, and I'm not asking you for anything? Could a mother want anything more than more of her children? Do you think Hashem wants anything more than us? And once we realize how important we are to Him, like one person said to me, you know what it means to believe in God? It means to know that Hashem has one picture in His wallet and it's of you. Each of us. One picture and it's us. That's emunah. My blessing to you is that we should live this way, we should be this way, we should realize that we're so close. Every good coach knows who to put in the fourth quarter. Well, this is the fourth quarter of Judaism. We're not here for no reason. I see my friend Alex Miller's on the phone. He knows exactly on the line. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Lapish days. Hi, Rabbi. Hashem should bless all of us to be those Jews, to be Yisrael Jews, to be Shavuot Jews, and to come to Chag Shavuot, look our Father in the eyes and say, I love you, Daddy. I want to spend more time with this year. And if we do that, maybe, just maybe, just maybe, thousands of years ago, Hashem revealed Himself on Chag Shavuot. Maybe this time, on this Shavuot, He'll do it again. And we'll be living in the time of Ve'yada kol pa'ul ki ata pe'alto, ve'yavin kol yitzor ki ata yitzarto, ve'omar kol asher neshama ba'po, Hashem Elokei Yisrael. May it come soon in our days. Thank you for listening to me. Hashem should bless all of you, and we should be zocheh to have a happy holidays and good things. And thank you so much. And we should be zocheh to see the days of Mashiach come in our days. B'mehera b'yameinu. Amen.
Thank you so much, Charlie. This was absolutely amazing. You pretty much gave the afikoman to the beautiful aftertaste to the beautiful lineup that we had between Pesach and Shavuot. Chachamim say Hakol holech achar hatum, and this beautiful ending made us realize that we have something beautiful throughout this journey between Pesach and Shavuot. And this is why I want to take the opportunity to thank you, to thank all the rabbis who came before to give the chizuk to SLC. And I must also mention our rabbis, Rabbi Elbaz, Rabbi Miller. Rabbi Miller, I have to say, have been absolutely amazing with the chizuk on a daily basis to give chizuk to our Shurim that you gave. So thank you so much. Chazaku Baruch. This has been a tremendous, beautiful journey of almost 49 days until Shavuot. I also want to take the opportunity to thank our sponsors of tonight and all the other nights of the beautiful lineup that we had. The people that are behind the curtains for the lineup, Roy Shecha, Rani Shem Tov. This was really amazing. You made it possible, even if we didn't think that it was going to be as good as every other year. So thank you so much. May Hashem bless your family. And I want to take also the opportunity to wish Chag Sameach to everybody, to wish you all Chag Shavuot Sameach. Enjoy your family. And of course, enjoy the Torah. Enjoy the Matan Torah that we are going to hopefully celebrate really, really, really together with Mashiach Tzidkenu. Amen. Ken Yehi Ratzon. I want to wish everybody, again, Chag Sameach. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. And hopefully only berachot and yeshuot to all of you. Amen.